This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
Dad is dead. There is a dog.
You bought strawberries. Who do you think you are?
You buy homemade bread?
What are you, QAnon?
What makes him happy?
Not being in this movie?
Not being in this movie.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kirk Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
And I am talking to you two from Minneapolis, where it is cold, but people are wearing shorts because it's 35 degrees. Nope, people are wearing shorts and hoodies, and that's it.
I get that. I mean, once you're in a cold climate for a while, you get so used to it that anytime it gets a little bit above freezing, you're like, yeah, I'm good. Shorts are fine.
Yeah, so...
Well, I'm not going to live there.
I, on the other hand, am freezing my ass off. How are you two?
Good.
I'm good. It's, it was temperate today. It was probably in the mid-60s here today in LA.
Oh my God. They'd be in bikinis here.
Yeah.
That's our Lifetime Hallmark weather report.
Right.
Back to you in the studio.
I should add, it's fairly cold in New Jersey. Flowers started to bloom, and then they've sucked themselves back in.
Right.
You can hear the sucking sound in New Jersey.
Is that I'm not much of a botanist. Is that something that actually happens? The flowers will retract if it's like, oh nope, too cold, or do they just die?
Yeah. No, I think they do start to retract a little bit. They start to, droop a little bit. You could just see the disappointment.
Disappointment. Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you though, one thing that did not disappoint was this movie. I actually liked it.
Because I think some of those flowers were by my window and happened to see the movie and started to droop.
You didn't like it?
Well, it's.
I
right.
thought it was okay. I didn't love it, but I didn't actively hate it either.
Now
it's all right.
Now their LA geography was bad.
It was so bad. I mean that only bothered me from it's so ridiculous when you see a movie set in LA where the entire film and TV industry is based, and they're getting things wildly wrong. That bothers me on that level.
Right.
Yeah. But we'll get into that as we get into this movie, A Little Daytime Drama from Hallmark.
Yes, and what I did like is they got soap stars to do it. Three of my favorite soap stars were on the cast. It was good.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah. It's a special interest now for you.
Yes. But before we get into this, is there any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kirk Fitzpatrick.
All right. From page 6, and this was just a couple of days ago. We're recording this on April 1st, 2022. Blac Chyna claimed on Twitter that she had to give up 3 of her cars because she allegedly receives no support from her exes. Yesterday, I had to give up 3 of my cars. My reasons, morals, beliefs, being a single mother, no support. I'm a mama, the model tweeted Wednesday morning. Single, no support, child support, she wrote in a second tweet. Despite her vehicular loss, vehicular loss. Chyna tweeted that she is still practicing gratitude. Chyna 33 shares 9-year-old son King Cairo with ex Tyga and 5-year-old daughter Dream with ex-fiancé Rob Kardashian. Seeing the tweets, a fan appeared to shade Chyna by alluding to Kardashian's more public efforts with Dream, writing, "When the other parent is actively in the child's life, taking the child on days and clothing, feeding the child," that's what it says, "is child support warranted?" Well, No, it's not when the other parenting successful. I guess they leave out words when people tweet because this is what Blac Chyna said. No, it's not when the other parenting successful. It's called co-parenting. But greedy parents try to get child support because they're not doing nothing. Rocket ship emoji. Reps for Tyga and Kardashian didn't immediately return Page Six's request for comment. This is not the first time the lashed salon owner has claimed that neither of her baby daddies are providing her with financial aid. In September 2020, Chyna actually bragged that she was so successful that she did not even need their child support. My biggest flex, I mean, just honestly, taking care of my kids by myself as a single parent, but no child support, she said on Sirius XM's Hip Hop Nation at the time. So that's my biggest flex. That's what's up. Chyna and Kardashian, 35, settled their child support battle in March 2019. He had been paying her $20,000 per month, but requested his payments be lowered because his financial situation had changed. His request ultimately came through as a judge ruled both Chyna and Kardashian should only be responsible for paying for their daughter's needs. Chyna has not asked for child support since the ruling. Okay, so what does flex mean? That's her flex.
Oh, flex is like showing off. Like I've got this thing, this skill set that I know that I've got, and maybe other people don't. So I'm showing it off.
Right.
Oh, that's your flex.
Like flexing,
word.
flexing like a muzzle.
I got that.
Right.
But so
Exactly.
what this story left out, because this story is a couple days old, is Rob and Tyga did comment on this. They commented on the Instagram post.
Oh, they did. So what did they say?
Yeah, we sent that to you. So let me see if I can find the exact wording. Hold on.
Okay. Let me see.
Basically, they were both coming back at her saying, why would we pay child support because we've got the kid for the majority of the week and we already pay for everything anyway.
Oh, did you
That was
Yeah,
the
you sent
long
that
and
to me
short of what they
before.
said. Yeah,
I
I
see
sent
that.
you a screenshot of what they
Yeah, I
had
see it
said.
now.
Here we go.
The Rob Kardashian and Tyga sound off after Blac Chyna claimed she had to give 3 cars. Yeah, no, it's hard to read it. They just said no way. That's what I got on this screenshot.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Rob
guess I could've done
says,
some
I pay
investigation.
$37K a year for my daughter's school. I handle every single medical expense. I pay for all her extracurricular activities. I have my daughter from Tuesday through Saturday. Why would I pay child support? LOL.
Tuesday through Saturday.
Yeah, Tuesday through Saturday. And Tyga says that he's got the son Monday through Saturday. So, like,
Wow.
so she doesn't even
6 days a
have
week.
a primary custody, it sounds like.
No, she gets them once a week. Wow.
Wow. How many cars? I wonder how many cars does she have?
How many do you need?
Not three, apparently.
No, she had to get rid of 3 cars.
But the one thing that I do disagree with is the fact that we know that that Blac Chyna is a hardworking woman. She is a hard worker. Say what you will, but
Oh, she is a hardworking woman. But I think it was kind of dumb to take to Instagram to try and get sympathy because you're getting rid of your cars.
right?
And because by your claim, you're not being helped with child support. It's like, well, they're doing most of the raising of the child, it sounds like.
True.
And
Correct.
cars depreciate unless she owns like the original Knight Rider car or the van from the A-Team.
The Batmobile.
She's got the mystery machine from Scooby-Doo.
She's got the car. She's got the car from the movie Psycho that gets that like falls into the lake, sinks in the lake. That stuff's worth money. But otherwise,
that car the Beverly Hillbillies drove.
that
would be worth money.
I
She
would
could get-
love it to live in a world where Blac Chyna and Jay Leno have shared interests, and that interest is like all kinds of unique cars.
They could hang out.
I would like to live in a world where Blac Chyna plays Ellie Mae Clampett.
Well, I think we could be living in that world. That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. I just saw Everything Everywhere All at Once the other night, which is all about the multiverse. So like I truly believe this is possible.
What's that? I'll watch that.
It
sounds
is
good.
incredible.
Yeah, I'll
It
watch
is
it tonight.
It is
Everywhere. What's it called?
Everything Everywhere All at Once, but you have to go see it in a theater. It's not streaming yet. It stars Michelle Yeoh as this woman who is getting basically ends up being pulled into multiple universes when she's getting her taxes done. and the movie has kung fu. It's got family drama. It's got like really heartfelt moments. It's weird as hell and hilarious and really, 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 really original. It is probably the best movie I've seen in at least 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Okay,
wow,
you just
jeez.
sold it to me. Where'd you see it?
At the IMAX theater in Century City.
Well, it's an IMAX
okay.
movie, too.
You just sold it to me. I will go and see that this week when I get back to town.
I just saw Nobody with Bob Odenkirk. That movie's badass.
I've heard that's good too.
Yeah, he should have won the Oscar.
Okay, so speaking of, are we going to talk about it?
I think our listeners are dying to hear our take on this situation.
Yeah, because nobody has had a take on this at all. In the past week.
Nobody hasn't expressed an opinion on this. We'll be the very first ones. Some people may not even know that it happened. This could be another form of news to them. All right.
Yes. And the news is that we're going to talk about is that Will Smith won an Oscar.
He did.
Yes.
That's it. That's all we're going to talk about.
I was rooting for him, but I do think Andrew Garfield was very good in Tick, Tick, Boom.
But you know what? Sometimes you got to slap a bitch.
Damn. Is that the opinion we're gonna go on the record with?
No. Well,
that is solely
is
Les's opinion. Les is super violent.
Well, no, because you know what? Because you know who I'm quoting? And she didn't say bitch, but Aunt Viv, they interviewed Aunt Viv, and Aunt Viv said sometimes people need to be slapped.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what
you
she
did say
said.
that. I didn't look at that either. Yeah, I should have. That's what Aunt Viv said?
That's what she said.
Well,
I was like, damn.
I don't have a problem with bald women. I like them. I like Jada's hot. The bald woman from Star Trek: The Motion Picture, Sinead O'Connor,
and G.A. Jane was hot.
Yeah,
she was.
I got no problem. Sigourney Weaver had a shaved head at one point. She still looked good. I'm all for it.
And to be honest, and I said this on my Facebook page, I'm sick of hearing it from both sides.
You mean the Chris Rock camp and the Will Smith camp?
Yeah, I like both sides are annoying me, and
yet here we are talking about it though.
Right.
We have to. Our listeners
but you kind of
demand it.
have to. That's the thing.
Yeah, we have to address it. And, yeah.
What
and
does
then
this
we can
have
let
to
it
do
go.
with Lifetime and Hallmark movies?
But
you never know. You never know. How long do you think this is going to take to be like on a Lifetime movie? Like a star is on.
Now there's a segue.
Or killed. Like.
Yeah.
The wrong.
That could happen.
You presented the wrong award.
I guess.
How much do you want to? I give it like 2 or 3 months.
For what?
Until there's going to be an incident on one of the Lifetime movies. Because Hallmark would never do that.
No.
Ever.
Although the movie that we watched this week, they do deal with, behind the scenes of the industry.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
they said the word divorce.
Yeah.
They could have easily slipped in this.
Yeah.
It's a last minute edit.
So, and then my hot take, and then I'll shut up. The thing that
the person that said that he's tired of everyone's takes is giving a take.
No, but it's not a. But okay,
you should have heard that.
I'm tired of people like pontificating and getting all self-righteous and making it about them and dramatizing it. My only hot take is I do stand-up comedy, and so a lot of my friends were the only thing that we discussed, honestly, is the fact that it makes us kind of worried because now if we're on stage and someone says something that we don't like, because as a stand-up, you deal with like audience and you deal with some violent shit sometimes and some kind of, get kind of scary sometimes, but there's security there to kind of like, put people in their place. And people, when you do stand up, a lot of times, let's face it, the majority of the time you're doing it for drunk people.
Yeah.
And so that was just my only hot take. And with my friends is just the fact that, wow, this gives a message to people that, you knew it and get away with it. So that's my only hot take.
And I'm not trying to go after you here, but doesn't I'm not trying to go after you here, but doesn't that take that you have, isn't that making it about yourself? Which is what you were upset with other people.
No, but also I have friends, honestly, who have experienced violence from audience members before.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I absolutely know that it exists. I'm just saying that does this incident, I don't think anyone was like, oh, well, Will Smith did it, so now I'm really going to punch someone at a show.
No, there were some people, though, like drunk comedy club people that would.
I did a show one time. Yeah, and people started.
I mean, think of it. Like at a comedy club, they get people fucked.
They do. But those people that are going to get fucked up and going to punch somebody were going to do that before Will Smith came along and did it.
Because my friend told a story. I'm not going to mention the name, but my friend told the story about how she was on stage and this woman, and she said something that this woman didn't like, and the woman went on stage and like scratched her and hit her, and the only reason why she didn't hit her back was because the woman was pregnant.
Jeez.
So shit like that, crazy shit like that.
Oh, I did a show. Go ahead. I did a show years ago. And people were pelting me with ice.
Yeah, people throwing shit at you.
That wasn't fun.
So it does happen.
No, it does, but I don't think it happening with Will Smith is lighting a light bulb in anyone's head where they're like, I hadn't thought of doing that before. Like they were going to do it because they're drunk.
But anyway,
I don't know. There's some people who, because of Will Smith, they got drunk and they went and acted in Wild Wild West. So,
well, he quit the Academy anyway. So,
and Gemini Man.
Isn't that punishment enough having been in those two movies, Kurt?
I worked. I was in.
Wait, were you on Wild Wild West, Kurt?
No, I was. I was an extra in the worst movie Will Smith ever made, which is Collateral Beauty. I talked about that before, I think.
Oh. Well, so Wild Wild West isn't the worst one, though? I thought that Wild Wild West...
No, Collateral Beauty is way... I mean, Wild Wild West is the Magnificent Ambersons compared to...
Oh, jeez.
I hated Hitch, for what it's worth. Hated it.
Well, because honestly, I had never heard of that movie before you, so was this earlier in his career, or like...
Which one?
Collateral Beauty?
Collateral...
No, yeah. Collateral Beauty was like...
2-3 years ago?
Maybe... 5 years ago? No, it wasn't 2 years ago. COVID was still going on. Like 5 years ago, so I think. Like 2016. Well, I guess that's like 7.
Wow.
I think Kurt froze.
I thought I told it.
Oh, there you are.
Did I freeze? Oh, there. Did I tell that story last week? I don't want to tell the same story. I told it to somebody.
I don't think you told it to us.
No, definitely not.
Well, it hadn't happened yet last week.
Okay. Must have been the other podcast I was on, the... Shelf Shedding podcast. I told the story. Oh, well, we'll spread it around. This is the home podcast. So anyway, I said I went to, I was in the movie. I showed up to Collateral Beauty, and Will Smith wasn't there. And then they announced he was in the movie. They said, oh, Ed Norton and Kate Winslet are filming a scene. This woman goes, she's pissed off. She can't see Will Smith. But then I got to go see a screening because I was in the SAG Award nominating committee. So I go to there's the Warner Brothers screening room in New York, and I go see it, and they're all there. Will Smith, Ed Norton. Will Smith is like happy, and I watched this movie. I was like, this is the shittiest movie I've ever seen.
That's funny.
I didn't say anything. I was going to raise my hand and say, you guys.
Like, did you run out? Like, was it one of these situations?
No.
Like, you ran out before the movie, like right when the movie was over, so nobody.
No, the movie was done, and they all came out. Helen Mirren, Will Smith, Edward Norton. They all came out. And they were all happy. Will Smith was bounced off the walls. And then so I left. I went in the elevator. It was just like me and this other guy. And I'm just like, so what'd you think of that movie? And he's just like, it was all right. What do you think? I said, it was horrible. And I have no idea who the guy was. He's probably the director.
Right.
Oh, that's fine.
Like, don't hire that Kurt Fitzpatrick.
That's okay. Whew.
Well,
beauty.
Should we get into this beauty of a movie?
Let's do it.
Yes. So, let me put my glasses
a little
on.
daytime drama, a Hallmark movie about people in the soap opera world.
Yes. So we start out with a soap opera scene, and then it flashes to Felicia Gallant from Another World, and Attitudes, Linda Dano.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I know Linda Dano from Attitudes.
What is Attitudes?
Attitudes.
talk
So
show.
Attitudes was a talk show in the early 90s, very early 90s, on Lifetime. This is basically when cable networks were still kind of new and still starting to do some original programming, and Lifetime wanted to attract women during the day, but didn't have like huge budgets to do soap operas. So they had a female-fronted talk show hosted by Linda Dano and Nancy Glass, and they used to spoof it on Saturday Night Live with Nora, Dunn, and Jan Hooks.
Oh, I remember Nancy Glass because she was in Philly. She used to host Evening Magazine back in the 80s.
Correct. So she did this after she did Evening Magazine. Yeah. And so it lasted a couple seasons on Lifetime, and it was fascinating as hell because they couldn't get real good guests, so they did a lot of like weird lifestyle segments and stuff, and like randos would be on the show, and it was fascinating to watch.
And Linda Dano would always talk about her husband Frank.
Yeah. And Linda Dano had her outfits were like, it was, peak late 80s, early 90s, massive shoulder pads, huge collars, big pendants, big earrings. It's amazing. Like, go look up clips online.
Yeah.
So this is the older lady.
Yes, the executive producer of the soap. Yes.
Okay.
And while she was doing Attitude, she was simultaneously Felicia Gallant on Another World, who also had big shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Wow.
And even to this day, Jason, isn't it kind of weird to look at Linda Dano and it's like without the shoulder pads, like something's kind of missing?
Yeah. It's like you're not quite Linda Dano.
Right.
It'd be like seeing, a Dolly Parton without her wigs or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like that. It's like you
like
still
Blac
know it's
Chyna
them, but
Bussier.
something's missing.
It's like if the unknown comic took off the bag on his head.
So then Felicia Gallant from Another World starts talking to Teresa Brady from Days of Our Lives.
I'm glad you're up on this.
Maggie. And she tells her, you're coming with me to this meeting because she's basically grooming Maggie to Linda Dano is the producer, and she's grooming Maggie to take over for her because she's going to retire soon.
There was a scene very early in this movie where I think it was the first scene with was it Maggie and Alice. And at first I was like, oh, is Maggie new here? Because she said something like, oh, reuse everything in terms of like the props and stuff. Almost like she was surprised, like, oh, I'm new here. And I didn't know that that's what happened. And then we find out that she's been there for 4 years and she's the head writer.
Right.
Yeah.
The head writer of the show.
By the way, for the head writer, what's the word she mispronounced? That's all right. I'll find it.
Okay.
I lost it again.
And the name of the soap, we should point out, is called Forever is a Long, Long Time.
Which I think is hilarious.
Well,
actually.
it is hilarious because if this movie were super terrible, it would have been an omen about the movie.
Right.
Okay, so I know I mispronounce words sometimes. I say Tiga instead of Taga, but she said, so the word is posthumous. She said posthumous.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Missed that.
Well, there should be a dialect coach or somebody.
Posthumous.
So we find out that
True story, and I won't go into the context of why I own this website domain, but I personally own the website domain posthumousporn.com. Continue.
Do you really? Oh my god.
And we're not going to get into that.
I mean,
That
I could.
be the next hot take.
I can tell the story. It's a pretty funny story. It's just a tangent.
What is it?
I have a friend who used to always show me videos that he had made of himself having relations with other men.
Oh.
It would just be like talking about them. He's like, oh, here. And he would like pull up the video. And I used to joke that when he dies, I get the streaming rights to those videos.
Right.
And one day, a group of us were drinking espresso martinis at Neiman Marcus in Beverly Hills.
Oh, geez.
Had a few too many. And I decided right there in that moment that I was going to buy the website domain posthumousporn.com. And at one point, one of our friends got mad at somebody wearing sunglasses inside on the escalator at this Neiman Marcus and made a snotty comment to them. So then now my friends are shouting at these people from opposite ends of the escalator, and I walk by and I say, I own posthumousporn.com. Don't you know who I am? And I walked away.
To the people that were on the escalator
Yes.
wearing sunglasses?
Yes.
Oh, God.
And they're like, what the hell?
Yes.
That's a loaded story.
Yeah, but if anyone
Really
needs that website domain, I can sell it to you because I've got it.
Hey, you can probably make a lot of money with that. Oh, anyway, so speaking of money, the soap is running out of money. There's budget cuts. And the reason why there's budget cuts is because the ratings are down. And the network executive is like, we might have to cancel this show. So we need to do something, and we need to do something to get our ratings up. And so the idea was we need detective. I know his name was Darren. I forget his soap name. But they're like,
Preston.
okay.
Preston Stillwater.
And they're like, we need him back. And Maggie's like, but we killed him. And they're like, well, you can still have him back. This is soap operas. People don't die, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
People are always coming back from the dead. And when they were giving the different scenarios, I was like, oh, I've seen every one of those scenarios before.
And when they come back from the dead, if they have a sex tape, it can go on posthumousporn.com.
Yes, there you go. So Maggie is like, they're bringing it up, and Maggie's like kind of cagey about it, and she's like, I don't think he's going to come back. And we then find out that Darren quit the show. He went to New York. He did a play. The play flopped. And so, but the guy's like, nope, we want him back anyway. We don't care. So
This play becomes a huge trigger for him, to the point where
huge.
Somebody just mentions the word play, and he is like, his whole face sinks into his neck.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for him. That poor guy was scarred.
Yeah, he truly was. I actually thought for 95% of the movie that, because we'll find out that he keeps talking to somebody on the phone and it's sort of mysterious. I thought he was going to therapy. I thought this movie was going to deal with mental health in a meaningful way. And I was like, go Hallmark.
That's what I thought too. Like, I thought it was like a therapist or like a life coach or somebody to like talk him through it.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing.
That was not the case. They watered it down.
No. So then we see like they're watching a soap opera scene, and
can we talk about that commissary for a second?
Okay,
they're in the commissary on the studio lot, and on the wall is like a display for their TV show, but it doesn't look like a professional poster that was made for a TV show that's been on for 40 years. It looked like when you go to a small theater production of something, and it's like theater students, and they've got that black like poster board with everyone's headshots on it. They put some glitter on it, so it looked like that.
Yeah.
It looked like I was going to a black box theater for like a one night only performance with some like college students for
20 seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had that issue a couple times. Things were scaled back from reality.
And it was funny because then at one point they were talking to this older couple in the commissary. They were talking to this older couple who had been together for like almost 40 years, an old couple who were on the show, and every soap has that couple who are married in real life who have been on the show forever.
Oh, is that a thing?
Kind of funny too.
I was wondering if that, because I didn't know that was a thing. That
no, it's a total, like on Days of Our Lives, like this couple have been on for like 50 years, and they've been married. Like they met on the show and got married. Yeah, it's a total thing.
Okay. Didn't know that.
It's a gig.
And so
apparently, she says they broke up because she badmouthed the play, and he really.
Well, I would break up with someone too
heart.
if I did a play and they badmouthed it.
I believe the reasoning wasn't specifically that she badmouthed it. It's that she badmouthed it, but didn't tell him it wasn't any good. And he was basically blaming her for him picking a shitty play to do.
Right. But
So somebody related to him that she thought it sucked.
But then I suspect that she was they didn't show this or say this, but I suspect that she was shit talking, and so what he heard probably was he got her shit talking version of what she was saying.
I don't think people shit talk in Hallmark.
Yeah. I wonder what play it was. Like, was this one of those like sequel plays, like Annie 2 or Carrie?
Annie 2. Wait, there's the Annie 2?
A friend of mine who did The Fringe was in the Annie 2, but back in the day. No, they tried. What they tried to do is they tried to do Annie 2, and they put it up for a little bit, and it was a bomb. So like, we got to recoup something here. So they kept a lot of the Annie 2 people, and they just made it Annie. They brought it back to Annie.
I do sort of remember Annie 2 being talked about at one point. And I remember even like when I was much younger thinking, how are they gonna, because she's not in the orphanage anymore.
Right. She's like rich.
Where's the conflict here? Yeah.
And my friend was in it, apparently. I didn't know. It's like, I've known him for a while. I didn't know he was in this original Annie, because he wrote about it. He writes about how this was kind of a disaster.
I love that, though. Well, since we have you here anyway, we might as well just do Annie.
Yeah, they just said, well, we got to make our money back somehow. So it just became Annie.
Oh, so then Maggie goes to Darren's house, and Darren is actually Nathan from General Hospital.
We've seen him before too.
Yes, he's been in a lot of movies we've talked about.
He's really hot.
And so.
Oh, there's a key moment in here which is evidence that they have done the deed. That is, she recognizes and gets along with the dog. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, she's been cozy at that home quite a bit.
Is that evidence of doing it?
Yeah.
Because people's animals always like me when I go over. It doesn't mean I've done it with my friends. Yeah, but they they dated.
Yeah, but Hallmark tries to play it off like these people date and they're not doing it.
Yeah.
But remember, we're on an all-new Hallmark now.
That dog affection. I heard a dog barking just a couple minutes ago.
Yeah. Is that the dog from the movie, Les? Or is that Happy the dog?
It's Iggy the dog.
Oh.
Iggy's a very big dog, too.
I think we've heard that dog before, didn't we? Didn't that?
Yeah, I've recorded here before.
Well, we were talking about Betty White one time. Betty White movie.
No, I've recorded here before. No, you've totally heard the dog before.
Yeah, I think so. Because I said to Cloris Leachman, she told Cloris Leachman said she was in Lassie on Larry King Live, and Betty White said, "Oh, were you the dog?" And then right after that, we heard this dog started barking.
So he does not want to go back to the show, and then she starts throwing out all of these perks, which are actually good perks.
The one perk she offered him, though, I thought was truly insane, because there's no way she even had the authority to offer him script approval.
Right.
On a soap? Come on.
Which, that's what you want.
He got free lunch, too. She was going to give him, free lunch every day.
From his favorite restaurant. But then I could see, burning out on that after a while. But you'd never burn out on having script approval.
Yeah. No, that'd be good.
Yeah, because you're making enough money on a soap to be able to afford to go buy your own lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's essentially just giving you $100 more a month.
But it's a TV set, and they're going to have lunch there anyway, and the lunches are normally really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's not a perk.
Yeah, some of the best food I've had has been on like film and TV sets.
Well, this is a TV set though, so they're not they're not on location, so they do have to buy their own food.
Right. True.
They do?
Yeah, if you're, well, at least the way it is in LA, if you're on a TV set and they have a fixed location where they shoot all the time, then you're responsible for your own lunch. Sometimes they'll cater to be nice, but they're not required. But if you're on location where the cast and crew don't have options nearby, then they have to cater.
Oh, sometimes they do. In New York, they will do like a walkaway lunch sometimes, but not. I don't think your rule applies in New York because they'll have studio shoots and they'll let you eat there. It all depends.
And then of course there's always M&Ms.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of that's happening anymore these days, though.
I don't know.
That's true because I guess buffets are kind of verboten.
Didn't our guest last week tell us, or maybe it was Meredith, that they're not really doing craft service anymore? They're not really doing that right now.
No,
it was Meredith.
Jeez, I forgot. I must have blocked that out. No craft services.
Yeah, she totally told us that.
Well, I'm not going to do it.
So then he agrees to the script approval.
Mm-hmm.
No, he didn't yet.
And so,
he thinks about it though. He's like, huh?
He likes
no,
it.
Still not doing it.
He likes it.
So, Linda, Felicia, what was her name?
Alice.
Bye, Felicia.
Alice.
Alice,
So
yeah.
because I put Felicia is talking to Teresa. So
Sounds like a poem.
Alice is talking to Maggie, and she really likes Maggie, and she's very encouraging to her. And so she tells her that she's hitting her stride, and meanwhile, the agent is telling Darren, look, you need to get to work. You haven't worked in a while. You need to get your ass back to work.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. He called him a gentleman farmer. I like that. That's what I want to be.
Oh, that's right, because he was very into gardening.
That's what I want to be. I'm a gentleman farmer.
Whoever was the costume designer for this movie really liked the color purple. Because this scene with Darren and his agent Zach, they're both wearing the exact same shade of purple shirt, which is a big no-no in costuming. And then the next scene, we see Darren and Maggie again, and they're both wearing purple. And then Darren's wearing purple in like 2 other scenes in the movie.
Some of those wardrobe people need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Because if you hand them a shirt that you had them wear and the wire hanger isn't like a question mark on the front, they get mad. You better put this. I pissed them off on purpose one time. I was working on some shoot, and I just had such a bad experience. I just kind of like, I didn't really like fold up stuff right. I said, here you go. So pissed off.
So angry. Also, not your job.
Right. It's not.
Man, these wardrobe people
aren't they union? That is
high strung. So are we.
Could be.
Maybe
No, but I mean, aren't they union? Isn't that one of their duties for the union?
Even if they're not union, if their job is wardrobe, then keeping the wardrobe in good shape is their job, not the talent.
Because there are weird rules. Like, aren't there rules like when it comes to like if on a film set, like, or something, you can't move props, like you're not allowed to do someone else's job.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's a power thing also. If they're mad, they could yell at an extra. Because what's the extra gonna do?
Exactly.
Oh, that is true. Like, they yell at the extras because you can't yell back. So then the agent gets really pissed when he finds out that she came to give him his job back. He's like, look, you need to take this job. So I suspected that he was running out of money because the agent was way too adamant about this.
Oh, yeah? I didn't think of that.
I didn't get that sense. I got the sense, I think they even said it out loud that, hey, the thing in New York happened. You got to get back up on that horse to show people that you're not washed up, essentially.
Right. But he had only been away from, he hadn't been away from the show long enough to be washed
It
up.
wasn't
though,
the being
didn't you
away
think?
from the show that would make him washed up. It's like he quit the show to go do this play. This is like David Caruso leaving NYPD Blue at its peak because he wants to go do some shitty movie, and then the movie flops, and he doesn't work for years.
Right. Dumb move.
Yeah,
You didn't like Kiss of Death? Is that the movie?
I think
called?
that was
Kiss?
the movie. Yeah.
Kiss of Death. He made a couple movies, you know.
Oh, so then Maggie comes back, and Maggie's like, "Look, we really need you back. We need help. Our ratings are bad." And then we find out that I guess she was shit talking. No, during their breakup, she called him a method actor with no method.
Yes.
That's not nice.
Right. Well, I think that was their breakup, or is that what she said about him that got back to him? Because if I was dating someone and they said that about me and that got back to me, yeah, I would totally break up.
She said that after he broke up with her. They broke up and she was mad, so this is what she had said.
Oh, then that's okay. Then.
Yeah, I guess she did
then
shit
that's
talking.
okay.
She did though.
Yeah.
Breakup shit talking is that's fine.
What does she mean?
Oh, so then he's like, okay, so I'll come back, but I'm only going to come back for 4 weeks. That's it. And so even though she's not happy about it, it's better than nothing.
And part of what he wanted was, in fact, the script approval, which I think is hilarious because in an earlier scene in this movie, he is mad that Maggie didn't tell him the script to the play was bad. So he's like admitting, I don't know a good script, yet I want to be able to approve the script.
Right. So the next day he shows up at the studio and he has a fabulous parking space.
Oh, let's talk about the geography now because it starts here.
Okay.
I'm not aware.
The studio, the way that they framed it, they clearly use CG to put the Hollywood sign like right above the studio. So when they're driving onto the movie lot, the Hollywood sign is there. Now, there is a studio that is kind of under the Hollywood sign. Paramount lot is right there. So you can see the Hollywood sign from there. This was definitely not the Paramount lot. This is probably a studio in Canada or something. Like the Paramount lot looks very specific. So did this lot, and they are not the same.
And also, Jason, if you're on the Paramount lot, you can see the Hollywood sign, but this Hollywood sign was really close in the movie. It's not that close.
There is a scene later in the movie where the sign is even closer, and it is one of the worst and most hilarious pieces of CG I've ever seen.
Now, have you guys been on the Paramount lot?
I have.
Yes.
I
have. I've worked there before.
I've been there multiple times. I've worked there. I've gone on tour there. I have friends that work there, so I would walk around. Yeah.
And I actually go to yoga next to the studio because I go to yoga at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which is right next door.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So then they give him like a whole welcome back party.
Yeah.
And
Big
then
deal.
So then the agent pulled Maggie aside.
A party
and
with
like,
Les. You glazing over the most important thing, I think, to Kurt.
Oh,
what was
cake?
that?
The giant sheet cake.
Yeah, I was excited about it. It was a whole affair. These people have to keep their figures, I would think. Like I might eat the cake. I'm not a soap opera star, although.
But he wasn't. We find out later though he's very fit.
Yeah.
She wasn't. Maggie was not fit, but he was very fit. Oh, so then the agent pulls Maggie aside and is like, "Listen, you need to get him to extend his contract." Which I thought was kind of cool that he was kind of trying to team up with her.
No, that wasn't the agent. That was that D-bag Gregory. That was the studio guy.
Oh yeah.
All those guys kind of looked alike.
That executive guy.
Yeah. Well, they were all playing like douchey white guy.
So then it turns out that the older couple like really liked him because he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're still here," and
You're still
they've
alive.
basically been there the entire run of the show, pretty much. And then, they're happy to have him back. Then he's in hair and makeup, which is where you do honestly get the real gossip.
Wait. Before we get to that, this is a funny detail that I'm wildly surprised that even the writer of this movie didn't know better. Linda Dano from Attitudes comes along. She's like, okay, we got to wrap up this party because you've got to do. She's like, hey, everyone, we're doing 180 pages today.
Right.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, the average in film and television is 1 page of script is 1 minute of screen time. Meaning that if they were filming 180 pages of script that day, they were filming what would probably be the equivalent of about 4 episodes in one day of a soap opera.
Wow.
Well,
And they never do that, do they?
No.
no.
They will sometimes have multiple crews going, but I can't imagine they would have 4 crews going on the same day.
It's epic.
So he's in the dressing room and he's next to like this real hot woman, and the hair lady is introducing them, and we find out that before he left, the character was 3 years old, but now she's like this hot 20-something. But they do that on soap operas all the time, and they call it, the character was SORAS. And SORAS stands for Soap Opera Aging Syndrome.
Sore ass.
No, and it happens all the time on soaps, all the time.
But it doesn't make any sense.
And they always do it like the kid's like 5, and then they start talking about the kid being at boarding school, and then like a month later, the kid's like 20.
It's got to be some hard-knocked boarding school.
I always enjoy when they do that because they don't do it with all of the young characters.
No, they don't.
So then you'll have some that will age 20 years and others that are the same age still on the show.
They're still little.
And how does this justify everybody else's age? It's just like it's a magic land.
People don't really think about it.
Or another one that cracks me up is like if there's a characters that are like sisters, like even adult sisters, and one of the sisters is younger, but then they recast the younger actress with an older actress who's older than the sister that's supposed to be the oldest sister, and it's like obviously older.
The problem is they're not being held accountable for this. Nobody's watching except for Les.
How dare you? How dare you?
Huh?
I think people are watching.
How dare you, Kirk?
I guess they don't care.
Did you see the commercial, by the way, that aired during this movie?
Yes! Oh my God, yes, with the neighbor.
No,
because there was one with this woman is like unpacking a moving van, and she goes and introduces herself to the neighbor, and the neighbor's like, I know that you're going to become fascinated with me and start dressing like me and steal my life, and I'm going to have to burn your house down, like one of the Lifetime commercials.
No, I was talking about an ad for something called Slot-O-Mania.
I didn't have that.
It's one of those, like it's like a game, like a slots game for your phone called Slot-O-Mania, starring Sharon Stone. The commercial was not starring Sharon Stone. The slots game for your phone stars a cartoon character Sharon Stone in like a superhero outfit.
Oh,
I think I did see that, and I didn't know who it was. I was like, that person looks familiar.
They said it at the very beginning of the commercial, but they said it so fast that you're like, wait, is this a joke?
Because I did see her on a glasses commercial.
Yeah.
That's funny. I guess, though, she'd probably make a lot of money for them using her likeness, right?
Oh, I'm sure. The game literally has her name stamped on it, so she's got to be getting a cut.
Because I don't think has she been in a movie in a while?
Not a movie. She did an episode of this improv crime procedural that Will Arnett does for Netflix called
Murderville. She did
Murderville.
not look happy to be there.
Oh, Will Arnett, right? He's in that.
Yeah, I haven't seen
okay,
it.
so
I haven't seen that episode yet, actually.
One of you guys were talking about it though, or somebody was talking about it and saying that she did not look happy, or maybe I heard it on Howard Stern. I heard it somewhere that she was not having it on that show.
Oh.
I think it was Howard Stern. I heard that.
My friend Irene is in the episode. I'll ask her.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, we need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're still trying to figure out ways to bring him back. And he's like, well, you know, what if I came back as his twin? And they're like, nope, that's already overdone, which it is. And then he's like, what if I come back as a vampire?
That's
Which,
cool.
that has happened on soaps too.
Yeah.
But she wasn't liking that idea either. And then this cute guy comes in and invites them to his play. And then it sounds like this set, it sounds like they loved each other and had a lot of fun together, because then the hair and makeup people start like a hiking club.
Yeah.
And so they're going to go hiking to the Hollywood sign. Now, the hike to the Hollywood sign is near my house. So I go on that hike several times a week. And that was not the hike to the Hollywood sign.
And I manage a tour company that does hikes to the Hollywood sign twice a day. And every time they would show them allegedly hiking to the Hollywood sign, I'm like, that is nowhere near the Hollywood sign.
Especially when they got close to the Hollywood sign. And I'm like, there's a big gate around it. There's no way that you could get that close.
It's literally monitored by Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big landmark. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy, how long of a hike is it to walk up there?
It depends on where you go from. If you go there's a trail that starts on sort of the Burbank side, and you could go up to the front and back of the sign. It's about 4 miles round trip. If you just go to the front, it's about 2 miles round trip.
It's a good hike. It's a fun hike.
2 miles would be good.
Oh, and so then Darren gets a mysterious phone call.
Yes.
Mm.
And so then Maggie gets a call from Alice, and Alice is oh no, this is at the play. Maggie gets a phone call from Alice, and their party's canceled because they lost their space where they were going to have the party.
I didn't even understand until this moment that there was going to be a party. I guess it's an anniversary party for the older couple, and they probably mentioned it, but they were treating this party all of a sudden like it's really important, even though they barely mentioned it before this point.
I was confused as well. I thought it was like a scene that they had to shoot in the show, because why is Alice so invested in this anniversary party for these people?
But then, I guess as she was the producer, but the way that they portrayed her was like she was like the caring, like she mothered all of them, and she cared about all of them.
And if you believe the timeline for all the characters in the movie, Alice had been at that show since the beginning, as had the couple that met on set on the first week of filming.
Well, it wasn't clear to me.
Yeah. And what was also kind of wild is there is another event that happens in this movie that seems to warrant a party much more than this couple's anniversary, at least in the context of this movie.
Right. And then he says that the reason he volunteered his place was because Alice was very good to him when he first started the show.
Yeah.
So then they're on the hike, and she's telling the makeup lady that she thinks that Darren has a girlfriend because she's seen him take these mysterious calls.
Before that, these people are dicks. There's a guy who works with them who invited them to the play, and they're all shit talking his play.
Yeah.
We won't do that. That's not nice.
Even Alice was shit talking it.
Yeah.
Except for Darren. Darren did not shit talk the play.
But then we find out the reason he didn't shit talk it is because he actually fell asleep.
Right.
Well, that's a way of enjoying it.
Yeah.
So Maggie is so out of shape that
Doesn't look too out of shape.
no, she's not at all. She was so out of shape that when she was passing Darren was like on his way down.
Yeah, what's up with this hiking? When you go hiking with people, you just run ahead of everybody? Is that what is that
Sometimes it depends on how
Yeah.
slow they are.
I think
Okay.
in the case of Darren, he actually didn't go with them to go hiking. He just happened to be there. Whereas the makeup people and Maggie, they all and the guy that did the play the night before, they all went together.
But if you go hiking with me and you're too slow, I will leave you.
Well, that's
I've
rude.
done it before.
All right. I'm
I'm
not
sorry,
too slow.
Kurt. I'd leave.
Oh no, I'm not too slow. I might leave you behind. You'll see. I'll get to
Oh,
that.
you know who I went hiking? Do you remember Rebecca Kling? I was like,
Yeah.
I knew I went hiking with someone who you knew to the Hollywood sign. It was Rebecca Kling.
Did you leave her behind?
No, I did not. Rebecca Kling could keep up.
Yeah, I can keep up.
Oh, so then once again, he's talking to Maggie. They're talking about why he didn't stay in New York, and he was like, because New York was never home to me. And then once again, he's getting like this mysterious phone call. And so they're shooting a scene. His character, so what they settled on was that his character was going to have amnesia. And so when they first started doing the scene, I thought that he was acting like he had amnesia because
Yeah.
his co-star fed him his line and he just sat there. So I thought, oh, this is good acting because he's like thinking, but he was not thinking.
No.
He just couldn't remember his lines because he was nervous. But once again, this is a very helpful cast and crew because they tried to help him out.
Yeah.
And so then Maggie realizes that he's struggling. She takes everybody, she makes everybody go on a break.
Yeah.
She's
I actually have an actual soap question, Les. They used to use teleprompters on soaps because they're doing so much filming in it. And I know that at some point, maybe 15, 20 years ago, that soaps largely abandoned that practice. You know why, they all stopped doing it?
I don't know. And especially since, they normally don't do 180 pages a day, but they do a lot.
Yeah, I know they
in
do a
day.
lot. So it made sense that they used to use them. It didn't make a lot of sense that they then stopped after it had been a practice for so long.
Maybe budgetary reasons, because in
Oh,
real
yeah,
life,
it
the
makes
soaps
sense.
really are having budget issues too.
Yeah.
That's why they canceled a bunch of them. So maybe it's a budget thing. So then he explains to Maggie that we thought that New York killed his confidence, but New York killed his confidence. And she's like, we all wanted you to do well here. No one's judging you or anything. We just want, we want you to do well. And so, then she starts asking him, about his grandfather. And then he goes back, and I guess he thinks about his grandfather, and he does the scene, and the scene's really good. So then for the party, he's checking out bartenders for the party, and so he invites her to go and check out this bartender. And
A mixologist who says he has been divorced twice.
Which I was like, wow, Hallmark. Now you're not talking about someone who's been divorced once. You're talking about someone who's been divorced twice.
Yeah.
This guy was like a young Nathan Lane.
A little bit, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
He had a good head of hair, I remember the guy. Oh, so the guy makes a special cocktail just for them because your 40th anniversary is your ruby anniversary. And so he made a ruby cocktail.
Huh?
And so then he's talking to, I almost called him Nathan. Darren is talking to Maggie, and he then tells her that, you know, it was always his dream to do theater. And so when the play didn't work out, that, you know, that gutted him.
This is where I started thinking, you know, you don't have to do Broadway. A lot of big.
I don't think this was Broadway, the play that he did.
He said it was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was. The reason he did it and took the shitty play is because he had always wanted to be on Broadway, even though he knew in his heart that it wasn't really very good.
Yeah, and you don't have to do that. You can even come to New York and do like a smaller theater, and there's
people do that all the time in New York.
Big actors who do that, or do it anywhere. If he just wants to be on stage, he has to be on Broadway.
But he wanted specifically Broadway.
Well, people aren't going to go see your play. It's tourists coming in to see The Lion King.
Oh, so then they named the drink. What did they? Do you guys remember the name of the drink?
40-Year Romance, I believe it was called.
And then the bartender recognizes him, and the bartender is like, you know, my wife loves you, and she loves my ex-wife loves you, which was kind of good timing because then she was having like that attack in confidence, and then he got recognized. I was like, oh, that's cool.
He was going to go text his ex-wife.
Yeah.
He has not let go of this relationship.
And she is going to use that in her restraining order against her ex.
That's right. He keeps texting me about stupid things.
Oh, so then Alice asks Maggie to cover for her at the soap opera convention over the weekend because she's got to babysit her grandkids. And
that sounds like a cool thing to do. Go to the soap opera convention. If you're into that.
And then meanwhile, someone found another play for Darren.
Zach did, the agent.
Yeah, okay. So then they go to the soap opera convention. The rooms were next door to each other. She's nervous because Maggie's never done anything like this before. And then Darren gives her a rubber band and says, put it around your wrist, and if you're nervous, just play with the rubber band. And it's a good trick. And so then he gets another phone call again, and the woman on the other end of the phone was very loud. Because Maggie could hear her. He went in the room, and he was like in the middle of the room, and Maggie's in the hall, and Maggie could hear that it was a woman.
Yeah.
And Maggie's trying to eavesdrop, and she knocks over all his golf clubs. We never see anybody playing golf in this movie.
Well, also, this resort where they go to this soap opera convention, it was presumably in L.A. because while they're away at this soap opera convention and staying at this resort, they go hiking to the Hollywood sign again.
Yeah.
He brought all his golf clubs. What a pain in the ass lugging around a bunch of golf stuff.
Right?
I'd rather just not play golf. That doesn't sound relaxing to me. Lugging around a bunch of stuff.
I agree.
So then they're having a panel, which Maggie was nervous about.
Hey, that show's a big hit, huh? That panel was packed with people. And there must have been 25 people there.
Maybe 26.
But she's actually doing well.
Yeah.
And so she said because, and then someone asked what Darren's ideal date was, and so he paints this scenario, and then when they're done, we find out that was their first date.
Yeah, she didn't like it. She didn't like that he used that as an example.
Well, because she thought that it was some cheesy move he was using on everyone. And he's like, no, it was our first date.
So then we're at another panel, and then this dick gets up and asks a dick question to Darren. Like, you know, was it hard for you to come back after your play flopped? I was like, you're a dick. And and I forgot to mention the person leading the panel and also the person who checked them in, which was the same person, was very, let's say, flamboyant.
Yes. Ken.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Ken was representing.
so then they're at a so then Maggie like sticks up for him basically and covers, and it's like, you know what? Yeah. He came back and we had to beg him to come back, and he had all sorts of offers, which I was like, oh, that's nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So then they're at a party and Darren is getting headhunted by a producer from another soap.
Yeah, what was the name of it? It's Tomorrow Always Comes.
Yes.
That's the name of it.
And so then they're at the party, and then once again the flamboyant producer or whatever was like, well, hello, you two.
No, he was like the party manager. He was like the tour guide.
Like at first he introduced himself as like they're like the guy that was organizing their weekend, but then next thing you see, he's moderating the panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a lot of jobs.
He's a jack of all trades.
It's a labor shortage right now.
Right. So then Maggie and Darren are talking, and he's basically thanking her for having his back, and then they almost kiss. Like they always do in Hallmark movies.
Scandalous in this case, though, because as far as Maggie believes, he has a girlfriend.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't think of that.
And I like the fact that she thinks he has a girlfriend, and even though she's interested, she's still being kind of like, she keeps her wits about her. And I kind of like that. Like, she didn't, like, go all, freaky. She just kind of, like, is like, I'm interested, but he has a girlfriend, so I'm just going to deal with it.
Later in the movie, that is very much not the case.
Right. But, like, right now, she's still playing it cool.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm just trying to figure out the point that Jason made before. So why are they staying in a hotel?
I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing that, let's say that the resort is in a nice resort in Los Angeles. Like, if you're the talent and they're going to give you a free room for the weekend, you might take it. Like, I get that, but it just seems silly to me that they would bring all this junk with them, like golf clubs and all these other things, and then go hiking to the Hollywood sign, which they can do any day.
Right. So then like the next day, Maggie's like hiking on her own to the Hollywood side because now it's her goal to make it up there.
Maybe she never makes it there because they're not actually in Griffith Park.
Right. And then Darren catches her because he's there too. And then, okay, there are the only bears that I see near the Hollywood sign, because they heard a bear and started running. The only bears that I see at the Hollywood sign live in Silver Lake and go to the Eagle.
There are not bears in Griffith Park. There is a mountain lion, though. There's B-22.
Yes. Who's famous? Yes, it's famous.
Well, a fairly famous mountain lion that will like occasionally show up in somebody's like driveway at one of the houses nearby, because there's a lot of like residential homes in that area.
I see.
There's snakes. There's snakes there.
So there's really one mountain lion. He makes the rounds.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
Like they've chipped him so they can follow him. And so there it. But they made it look like it was like in the middle of the woods. It is not in the middle of the woods.
No. They hear some kind of growl, and then they don't really care. They're like, oh well, we'll just keep walking around. It's nothing to see here.
Did you want an action scene in this where they see a bear and they have to fight it?
I wanted the two of them to be eaten alive by a bear. That's what I wanted, but I'm not going to get what I want.
The wrong bear. So then later. So then she brings up a good point. She's like, dummy, people do plays and do a TV show at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but especially since they want him on the show so
Right.
bad, he could probably make some demands that he could leave early and things like that.
But the way that she made it sound like it wouldn't even have to be a demand.
Yeah, and as I understand it with soaps, because they do film for so many episodes a year, like even the biggest stars on the soap will have like big chunks of time off while they're focusing on other storylines.
Yeah, like, you know, when they go to the insane asylum, or, you know, when they fall over a cliff and disappear and you think they're dead for a couple of months, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people shouldn't be worried about anything. They're very privileged.
But no, but it was just crazy though, because he's going on about it and she's like, this isn't even an issue. What's your problem?
Yeah.
Man, you notice that none of the other actors on the soap ever get any credit. Like he's in the scene, they're like, "Oh, Darren, this is great." You notice the other actors is in, they just ignore them.
Well, the ratings were in the toilet when Darren was gone, so I mean, frankly, he is the draw.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about their self-esteem, Darren?
Yeah, that other guy, he isn't a star and was in a bad play. At least Darren is a star and was in a bad play.
Oh, so then they're at another event, and the producer from the rival soap opera goes up to Maggie and is like, "So I hear your show is getting canceled." And then she says something smart ass back to him.
Yeah, she kind of turned around on him and said, "Oh, I've heard the same thing about your show."
Yeah.
She said something. Well, I heard that tomorrow will never come.
Oh, burn. Sick burn, Maggie.
And then he gets sort of bitch face. He gets like a scrunched up. His face looks like a croissant. Like he is not.
A croissant.
He's been had.
So then the next day, I guess it was the next day, Alice and Maggie and the other
Alice doesn't
lady,
live here anymore. Okay,
the other lady, the older lady who's part of the couple, they're all having lunch, and they're like, "So, what happened over the weekend?" And, you know, she once again is like, "Well, I think he has a girlfriend."
No, she's like, "So, how many inches did you get?" She's like, "Oh, stop it." This is the version I saw.
So then they do another scene, and then they're hiking, and we find out that they are Maggie says she's basically hiking to kill time because the ratings are going to come out soon. And so they go. So then we find out that when they were a couple, they used to like order a pizza and wait for the ratings. And then we find out the ratings are up. He's done his job. And then there's another scene, and then once again, Maggie is told, "Okay, you need to get him to stay longer."
Did you notice where this scene took place? The scene with her and Gregory, where Gregory is trying to get her to like extend Darren's contract.
Where was it?
They're standing outside the studio under a monorail. They were like traps for like an elevated train. I'm like, what the hell kind of LA do they think that this is?
Because we've got monorails all through LA. It's like we have a subway. Hello.
Were they at Epcot?
What?
Maybe they're in the LA land.
It's probably in Vancouver.
Oh,
Because there's
no monorail in Vancouver, is there?
Like an elevated train, like Chicago has? I'm sure it was in Canada. I'm sure they filmed this in Canada.
Chicago has the L. Yeah, they were in Chicago. I don't know.
So then she's talking to him, and he's like, "Well, okay, you know, you do want me to stay longer, so you know what I'm going to do, since the ratings are up, I'm going to stay, but I'm not staying. I'm only going to stay until sweeps week. So I will stay a little longer, but not much." So then we're at the party, and it's a nice party, and then Darren gives a speech, and then the next day, Maggie's going on like a lunch run Like, she goes to the makeup woman and is like, well, I'm going to this place for lunch. You want me to pick you up something? So she's on this lunch run and she sees Darren going into this building. And she's like, oh, really? This is where his girlfriend is. And so she follows him and she walks into the middle of an acting class. And everyone's laughing. It's and it's him and a bunch of women in the acting class.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And one of the women is like, is this an improv? And so then Maggie gets embarrassed and runs out. He runs after her, and we find out that he was so scarred by that play that he went back to acting class.
Yeah, she's like, she says, I had no idea it was so bad. It was so bad he went to an acting class.
That play really did a job on him.
What was wild about this is there's an acting class on the studio lot, and he's trying to do this on the down low, but is going to the acting class right where all of his coworkers work.
Right.
And it looked like an abandoned building also. Like all the windows were boarded up. There was it was a very strange situation.
Yeah. And so that was the person who he was talking to on the phone, his acting coach, because he was so scarred.
Yeah, not a
that
therapist.
He needed the acting coach's encouragement.
Doris Roberts used to take acting classes. She was older. She would take an acting class every week. It's not
because she was Mildred Krebs. That's why.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. So it's not the last resort. It's not like you're in your turmoil. That means you have to go take an acting class.
No, but then he started describing it. I guess people would walk out. He'd see the people walking out of the show and stuff, and it sounded bad.
Yeah.
And so then we find out he doesn't have a girlfriend at all. He's totally single. And so,
well, I think he's working his way through that acting class.
And then they agree not to hide things from each other. Yeah, so then they agree not to hide things from each other anymore. And then he gets a mystery call about a script. But he says, I need to think about it for a few days. So then the producer calls Maggie in. And who was it that said that they needed to take the show in a different direction? Was it him?
Maggie's been trying to push Alice to contemporize the show and the characters a little bit, and Alice has been resistant. And Maggie's like, look, these are my ideas. Take a look. She gives her this book that she's got with all her ideas. Next day, Alice is like, you're pitching to the network. And so then they go and they meet with Gregory, who loves her ideas so much that not only gives Maggie the executive producer role on the show, they basically just kick Linda Dano out of this movie in a very swift amount of time, because they made a big deal about this party for this couple that we don't really care about in this movie. Linda Dano, who we've grown to know throughout the movie, they're like, okay, bye, you're retired after 40 years. They don't have a party or anything.
Right, because she's got her boxes. She's carrying her boxes out.
They kicked her to the curb.
Right?
Damn, pack up your desk. I'm surprised they didn't get security to escort her out.
Yeah, well, but then she looked like she was happy to leave, too. She wasn't, broken up about it, right?
Yeah, I guess so. This executive was really easy to please all of a sudden.
Yeah, he didn't like anything, and all of a sudden Alice tells him, I want to completely blow up the show and change all these characters. He's like, oh, cool, let's do it.
Yeah, she barely opens her mouth. She barely parts her lips, and he's like, yes.
Oh, so then we find out that the new direction is actually working, and it's helping the show, and the ratings are going up. Mm-hmm. But then
I did feel like when they were talking about all these changes and contemporizing the show, that it was a little bit of meta commentary on what's going on at Hallmark.
Oh, just the whole we're changing our
direction. we're we're not really changing, but we're bringing this thing into the 21st century, and here's how we're gonna do it.
Right. So then Maggie then gets wind from, was it the agent that was like, someone told Maggie.
Gregory told Maggie that Darren's doing a play.
Yeah, and he's leaving.
Yeah.
That he's doing a play and he's leaving the show. And so then Maggie's pissed because Maggie's like, wait, you're not going to tell me? So Maggie's like, I'll fix your ass. I'm going to kill you off. You're going to get hit by a bus.
Also pretty fucked up that the network exec knows that Darren is leaving, allegedly. But Maggie, the executive producer of the show, doesn't know?
Right. So then the hiking gang goes to hike, and they're like, "Where's Maggie?" And they look up, and Maggie's at the top of the Hollywood sign.
So that's what I don't get. Why they go to hike together? Why she must have got there like an hour early.
Well, first of all, just so you know, when you go hiking at that part, you can't see people. You can't make out anybody on the Hollywood sign. They look like ants.
Yeah, and the closest you can get to the front of the sign, you're still fairly far away from. You're right under it. You'll get good, like, amazing photos there, but you are not like right up under the sign. You're like below it. And the closest you'll get to the sign is going to the back, and even then you can't touch the letters. There's a big fence there. You can't go through.
Is LA just a general question? Is LA kind of is it like too crowded, too congested? Like is there room
I don't think
for more people to like live in LA?
Yeah, we have space compared to New York for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more congested in the city, proper. Like, I'm in West Hollywood. It's more of a city here than it is, say, in the San Fernando Valley in terms of like how on top of people each other are. But it's not bad here. No.
Is it expanding? Is it getting bigger?
It is expanding. Well,
population.
It's expanding, and then they're also like knocking a lot of buildings down and building condo buildings,
but like high end ones. As far as population here, we were growing. I think the pandemic saw a drop in population, but that'll bounce back because everyone's going to want to always move here because the weather's good, because there's career opportunities here, and there's big events that draw people here, like the Olympics are coming up in 28. So,
and I don't know about you, Jason. I don't know about you, but I had a bunch of friends who moved home during the pandemic, and they are now like, what the hell did I do? I'm coming back. So I have friends that are coming back.
Yeah. Okay. Another question. Does LA have, so we all know the entertainment industry is there. Does the LA also host any other industry?
Yes. I have my I guess he's my nephew, my niece's fiance. He's in like the technologies industry, like he's like in like engineer, like aerospace, and there's stuff like that here too.
Yeah, so tech in general has grown a lot here over the past few years, because as rent was getting really expensive in Seattle and Silicon Valley, they're like, oh, we want to be closer to the entertainment industry anyway, because we see a lot of opportunities there. So there's a whole area of LA known as Silicon Beach, which is a lot of tech. So like Apple Music is based here, Hulu is based here, Snapchat is based here, a bunch of companies like that. So there's a lot of tech money here, and a lot of aerospace, like you said. Like JBL is in Pasadena, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good place to live? Like, economically, it's good?
I think like it's not as bad as New York.
Right.
Yeah.
Like where I'm at in West Hollywood, it's the second most expensive city for rents in all of California after San Fran. But I'm rent stabilized, so what I'm paying, I'm getting a great deal for my money. And if I paid this amount in New York, I would my entire bedroom would be the size of my apartment.
Right.
Whereas and now I have...
And your apartment's pretty big,
My
Jason.
apartment's huge. It's very, very huge. I have 1,800 square feet, which is pretty insane.
Right.
Okay.
Why, are you thinking about making the move out here, Kurt?
No, I was just curious. I like it for a couple reasons. Certainly, certainly the weather. At a certain point, I don't want to. I would prefer not to live somewhere that had cold weather.
It's
I
an
like that.
easier
Other
city to
reasons.
live in than say a New York or probably is Chicago. I would say because the weather,
Yeah.
but B, like you aren't as on top of each other. You do get a little space, both in terms of what you rent and just like physical space between people. You're not right up in their face.
Yeah. And my entertainment career, but we'll see. I would have to have some things here taken care of. So
Right.
we'll see.
Oh, by the way, the older guy, part of the couple, decided to join them on their hike.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like ski poles.
Yeah. And so when they catch up to Maggie, he's like, oh, well, guess what, Maggie? I'm going to be in a play with Darren, and I'm going to be playing his father. And Maggie's like, well, wait a minute. You're leaving the show? And he's like, no, I'm not leaving the show. I'm doing both. And then she realizes that she messed up because Darren's not leaving the show either. And so she's going to kill him off.
He's going to be hit by a bus.
Right. So she rushes back. She changes everything. She apologizes. They're back together. And then we see more of like the new direction of the show. The end. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, he says that when he talked about the play he did, he said the 16 actors turned down the role before he took the part.
That was the New York play. Yeah, the New York play.
Yeah, the one that flopped. Yeah.
And that's it.
That was
And
it, man.
I liked it.
I wrote the end. Good.
The end's good.
No, it was okay. It definitely had, the usual tropes in there. They almost kiss. There's, somebody accidentally thinks they're a couple and usual stuff.
There was an element of this movie that was almost there, and I feel like they should have used it. Is they have these two characters. We don't actually meet their parents in the movie, and we don't know the status of whether they're dead or alive, like a Hallmark movie normally would do. But they had this elder statesman couple on the show, and they could have made them like the parental figures, and they really weren't.
Right.
There was potential. Like you said, the mental health potential, that would have been interesting.
Having the party for Linda Dano's character instead of the couple.
Have her do what?
It should have been a retirement party for Linda Dano. It shouldn't have been a 40th anniversary party.
Yeah,
right,
just
exactly.
Cab for.
Well, actually, though, they still could have worked the 40-year angle into Linda Dano's character because she's been there for 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they could have had a party for her, not for that couple.
But yeah, I think it's the best movie we've seen in a while.
I don't know. It was fine, I guess.
Well,
you have a special interest.
glowing
Wes, 'cause
review,
all
Kurt.
these people. What's that?
A glowing review from Kurt.
Yeah, glowing. Yeah. This will
I think
definitely be up for an Emmy.
I think we're about due to see like a killer movie.
Yeah.
Or like we're due to see like a bonkers Lifetime movie. We haven't seen anything that's like been like over the top, just bonkers as hell for a while.
Like a killer or a psycho. Or one of those
Yes.
Eric Roberts ones.
Oh, I was thinking about Eric Roberts over the weekend.
Oh my gosh, that's right, because there's like how many movies?
There's one or
Like
two
5
more
of
that we
them.
haven't seen yet, yeah.
No, because I was wondering.
What?
Stalked by my
What were
doctor.
we saying?
Last Sunday, the Oscars were on. I was wondering, does Eric Roberts get acting work the night of the Oscars because all the other actors are at the Oscars, so there are no other actors available?
Probably does.
So
He's
Eric gets some work that night.
He's like the designated survivor.
Yeah.
Knowing him, he'd probably do like 2 acting gigs on that night.
He's like, I'm the only one available tonight. Everybody else is out.
Do you think when Eric
Right.
Roberts watched this movie and he heard that they were filming 180 pages in one day, his eyes like bugged out of his head, like, yes.
Oh no, actually, he'd probably be
That's
like,
it?
slackers, 180 pages. Come on, that's nothing. I do that in my sleep.
Because I write all those words. I got teleprompter in my sunglasses.
Oh, he'd be appalled by a teleprompter. Are you kidding?
Oh,
Eric Roberts.
I don't think. I don't think.
I don't know how it works, but I don't think it would be beneath him to use an earpiece.
And
Robert Downey Jr. uses an earpiece.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no judgment when it comes to that.
Apparently, Bruce Willis was using one.
Oh, that
Bruce.
one really bummed me out.
Same. That
he's
story is
leaving.
really heartbreaking.
And I think he was being taken advantage of also.
I bet
last
there's an
couple
element
years.
of that. I bet there's a little bit of an element of that.
Because he did shitty. Well, I saw one of those movies. One movie he made. I think it was called Acts of Violence. But even that was like a couple years before. And he's hardly in it, and it's like it's not great. But some of these movies, some of these movies are really. I saw like some of the trailers that look really bad.
Because wasn't he basically doing pretty much like, kind of like what Michael Caine did, and just do like a bunch of straight to video, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, they were basically like, we'll give you $2 million for 2 days of work, and he's like, all right, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently he was stockpiling money, but didn't he have money? I don't know.
I'm sure he had a ton of money.
He needed more money.
But I guess if retirement is on the table, you want to like.
And also, I don't know a lot about his upbringing, but if he kind of grew up in a family where they didn't have a lot, there's always, no matter how successful you are, no matter how much money you have, there's always that fear in the back of your head that you're going to lose it all.
And he has a bunch of kids.
Well, they're all
Like a
adults.
bunch.
They're all adults now.
But yeah, that was so sad. Oh, poor Bruce. Anywho, and if you want to find me, you can find me on my website, leskirkendallbarrett.com. Jason.
Please rate and review us on whatever podcasting platform you listen to us on. Give us 5 stars. That way more people can find the show. Maybe our Australian friends are spreading the word. Who knows?
Oh, hey, Australia.
Hey, Australia. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Oh, and we're all on Instagram and Facebook at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. Kurt.
I appeared on the Shelf Shedding movie show. That's going to be, we did an Oscar episode, and we did it before the Oscars aired. So we pick our Oscar picks. We announce our Oscar picks, and we do that. So that's fun.
Now, do you two do kind of like a wrap up, not a wrap up show, or just like, do you touch base?
No, we haven't, but I guess we could. It's not my show. It's my friend Jason Debray. It's his show, and I went on it. I've been on it a couple times as a special guest.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
And speaking of other podcasts, I have another podcast. It's the Reality Reading Rainbow, where my co-host Victoria and I talk about books written by reality stars. And this week we are talking about the book Caviar Dreams on a Tuna Fish Budget by Margaret Josephs from The Real Housewives of New Jersey. So check it out. And I think that's it. So it's 10 o'clock here in Minneapolis, so I'm going dancing at the saloon.
All right.
Sounds like fun.
So I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.